The wind moves quietly across the tarmac. A cargo plane descends. No logos, no manifest, no fanfare. It touches down in Bosaso, a place few outside have ever seen. Base inside a base. Steel gates, shadowed compounds. There are no custom officers, no federal soldiers, just headlights, crates, and then they're gone. This is not the Somalia most people imagine, and this is not a base built on transparency. This is the PMPF, the Puntland Maritime Police Force, funded by the United Arab Emirates, trained by a private military firm, Sterling Corporate Services, created officially to fight piracy, but its purpose and its reach far less clear. May 11th, 2025, Sudan makes a claim, a diplomatic letter, formal accusation. Bosaso is named not as a police base, but as a covert hub, launch point for war, route for weapons, for fighters, for the RSF. Forced accused of war crimes. Puntland denies. Mogadishu stays silent. But the question echoes louder. What is really happening inside the silent base? Because this isn't just about Puntland, and it isn't just about Somalia. It's about a system, pattern, where foreign powers build armies in secret, move weapons in silence, and operate in the blind spots of international law. Bosaso may have started as a coastal defense, but today it stands accused of something far greater, a node in a shadow war. An Arkhivum investigation begins. The PMPF didn't build itself. It didn't rise from Somalia's defense plans. It came from somewhere else, someone else. Sterling Corporate Services, a company with no office in Mogadishu, no presence in Garowe, no accountability anywhere, registered in the Emirates, staffed by former operatives, men trained not to serve governments, but to build private armies, according to UN investigators. Sterling was operating in Puntland as early as 2010, not with federal permission, but with regional blessing and UAE cash. The contract? Never published. The terms? Unknown. The arms? Not declared, not inspected, not legal. Sterling brought it all. Trucks, helicopters, trainers, weapons. They built a base inside Somalia, but far outside the constitution. Not Somali flag flew above it. No parliament reviewed it. No army integrated. And yet, it became one of the most powerful installations in the Horn, shielded by Gulf money, invisible in official budgets. It was called Anti-Piracy. That's what the branding said, but no one saw the contract. No one ever audited the books, and no one ever asked how a police unit came to possess more firepower than the Somali army. Satellite images tell the story, a base that grew year after year, from sand to steel, from outpost to fortress, barracks, helipads, intelligence outposts, an airstrip untouched by federal customs. In 2016, the truth surfaced. Leaked manifests, cargo flights, security supplies flown into Bosaso. No declaration, no inspection, no record. This was not piracy control. This was private militarization, built with Gulf money, managed by foreign contractors, and accountable to no Somali institution. The question isn't just who built this base, it's what they built it for. To the public, the PMPF looks official. Uniforms, marching drills, graduation speeches, a regional president standing tall before his troops. But beyond the optics lies a fog, because no one outside inner circle knows what this force costs, or who really pays for it. In Puntland's budget, not explained. No line items, no salaries, no arms procurement records. Local MPs have asked the question, where does the funding come from? What contract was signed with the Emirates? What does the UAE control? And what does Puntland even know? But the answers never appear in public record. In 2014, then President Abdurrahman Farole dismissed the PMPF's commander. No hearing, no court, just a signature. Confirmed what many already feared, that the PMPF, though it wears Puntland's name, answers not to the public, not to the Constitution, to the presidency alone. Today, President Saeed Abdullahi Deni maintains the same pattern. He reviews PMPF operations, presides over new recruits, but he has never released a full report on the force's operations, never revealed the foreign agreements, never explained its scope. Is Puntland running this force, or is the force running through Puntland? Because the PMPF has become more than a maritime unit. It guards ports, controls roads, conducts intelligent raids, holds detainees in silence, and to this day, the original contract with Sterling Corporate Services has never been made public. The President may appoint the commanders, but the weapons arrive by foreign plane, the training comes from foreign hands, and the money remains untraceable. This is no longer just a question of command, it's a question of control, and whether Puntland's government has any at all. Bosaso is not an exception. It's part of a system, a chain, built by the United Arab Emirates, from Berbera to Asab to Chad ports, airstrips, bases, each one quietly leased, quietly armed, quietly operated.
Parliament of Somalia's breakaway region of Somaliland has approved a deal to allow the United Arab Emirates to establish a military base in the port town of Berbera.
The federal government in Mogadishu has stamped the agreement unconstitutional and a violation of Somalia's sovereignty.
Military shipments passed through under the veil of commerce. Satellite images confirmed it. Concrete fortifications, storage depots, foreign logistics across the sea. In Asab, Eritrea, the UAE built an airbase used to launch strikes into Yemen, used to stage surveillance across the Red Sea. It was never declared, not to the UN, not to the world. And then there's Bosaso, a base outside federal Somali law, built with Emirati funds, manned by Sterling-trained troops, and now allegedly used to supply one of Africa's most brutal militias. On May 11, 2025, Sudan named Bosaso directly, accused Puntland of enabling RSF logistics, weapons, flights, fighters, and by the time the accusations surfaced, it may have already been happening for years. It wasn't the only lead. Uncovered UAE flights, landing in Chad, military cargo, hidden itineraries, UN experts connected the dots, indirect airstrips, deniable logistics, same pattern, different countries. Bosaso fits that pattern perfectly. Private airstrip, no customs, no federal clearance, no scrutiny, just crates disappearing into the desert. And here's the geopolitical truth. The Bab al-Mandab Strait moves nearly 10% of the world's oil, control both sides, Asab and Bosaso, and you don't need boots on the ground, just contracts, bases, and silence. Bosaso was not the first, but it may be the precedent, the test case for a new form of militarization inside a fragile state, private bases, foreign weapons, no accountability. The PMPF was built to fight pirates, but before long it drifted inland, to Garowe, to the ridgeline of conflicts. It began conducting raids, arresting men, detaining families, no warrants, no federal oversight, no judicial review, far outside maritime scope, and still no coordination with the Somali National Army, no joint command, no integration, a regional force operating like a sovereign army. 2023, Sudan erupted. Two armies, one nation torn. On one side, Sudan's armed forces. On the other, the RSF, paramilitary born from the Janjaweed, accused of mass killings, ethnic cleansing, war crimes. And then May 11th, 2025, letter from Khartoum to Mogadishu. Sudan accused Puntland of aiding RSF, of turning Bosaso into a war conduit. Weapons, fighters, flights. The letter named the base. It named Puntland, and it demanded investigation. Puntland denied quickly, firmly. No weapons, no fighters, no involvement. But no evidence was offered, no documentation, no inspection. Mogadishu, still silent. Behind the scenes, sources say an intelligence review began. Quiet, contained, but no public finding, no confrontation. Why? Because challenging Bosaso means challenging the PMPF, and challenging the PMPF means confronting UAE. Mogadishu says nothing. The law is clear. Only the federal government can authorize national defense. But here, the government watches and waits. No court has ruled, no statement has been issued, no investigation made public. Because in Somalia today, federalism is not power sharing, it is power avoidance. But Bedaport deal, not challenged. Foreign air bases, not confronted. Bosaso base, not even mentioned. They stay quiet, but silence is not neutrality. It is complicity. It is surrender. It is a message to every region, every foreign player. Build your army. Run your base. You'll never be held accountable. What remains in Somalia's sovereignty? They cannot control its skies. When ports are leased behind closed doors, when regional militias outgun the national army, the Constitution still exists. But power lives elsewhere. And between laws that bind and bases that defies, lies a silence that grows louder with every untracked flight. We've shown you Sterling Corporate Services, a foreign company with no mandate building a base on Somali soil. The UAE bypassing federal law and arming a militia behind closed doors. Puntland appointing commanders but never explaining the money. Mogadishu silent, frightened, absent. And Sudan now naming Bosaso in a war fueled by foreign ambitions. But this isn't just about Bosaso. It's about a new model, one that's spreading, a model where sovereignty is something you don't defend, you lease. Where armies are built without flags, where airstrips land without questions, where presidents look away and mercenaries look ahead. Governments are weakened, borders blurred, and people are forgotten. A base built to stop piracy now stands accused of helping paramilitaries kill civilians. A government that cannot access its own runway calls itself sovereign, and a people promised peace are left between foreign contracts and locked doors. So the world asks, how did it happen? When did the guns arrive? Who allowed the runway? But the truth is not in the explosions. It's in the landings that no one tracked, the budgets no one questioned, the silence no one dared to break. This is the silent base, and it may be the future, unless silence ends.